Today's episode of Pool Magazine Podcast is proudly brought to you by Genesis and the Pool and Hot Tub Alliance. Genesis trained professionals build pools that clients rave about, turning satisfied customers into powerful referrals. Our curriculum is designed to equip you with the knowledge and skills to create extraordinary outdoor living spaces. Invest in your employees with Genesis and watch your team thrive.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of Pool Magazine Podcast. We're excited to have you with us today as we dive into the power and versatility of the IntelliFlo3 VSF pool pump. Whether you're a seasoned pool pro or just getting started, this episode is packed with insights that are going to make your job easier and your pool smarter. First, a little overview of the topics that we're going to be covering today. We'll be discussing how the IntelliFlo3 makes automation easy by connecting to two additional pieces of pool equipment, how you can monitor and troubleshoot remotely, saving time in service trips, how to track energy usage through the Pentair pool app, and finally, what you need to know about the Department of Energy's upcoming regulation on single-speed pump replacements. To help us break it all down, I'm thrilled to have with us today a guest, someone who knows this pump inside and out. He's been with Pentair for 15 years and is currently the Senior Product Manager for Pentair Pool Pumps, based in Cary, North Carolina. Please welcome Adam Key. Adam, it's great to have you with us today on the show.
Thanks for the warm welcome. Hey everyone, my name is Adam Key. Like you said, I've been with Pentair for 15 years, mostly in the new product development engineering group, where I've led the team responsible for pool pumps. I'm very passionate about the IntelliFlo3 and excited to share some of the features and updates that can make your work easier.
That's great. So Adam, I hear the IntelliFlo3 it's not just a pump, but it can also be used as an automation tool. Would you mind telling our listeners a little bit more about that and how it works?
Sure. So if we think back to the days of single speed pumps, and many pools still have single speed pumps. I hear from a lot of servicers that somewhere around half of the pools in the route still have single speed pumps. A lot of those are being controlled by mechanical time clocks. Those time clocks were the first and most primitive form of automation for pools. They're controlling when that pump is on and when it's off. And whenever that pump is on, it's running full blast, it's working very hard, and it's consuming a lot of electricity. So that's why we wanted time clocks to automate when the pump's on and when it's not, so that we're not consuming excess energy and having excess costs to go with that. So really, variable speed pool pumps were the first form of automating that process. It allows you to schedule when that pump is on and off, but also at a lower flow rate, which is going to use less electricity. So you can automate that pool schedule, choosing when it runs and when it doesn't run. The problem with that is a lot of the interfaces on the pool pumps are not the most intuitive interfaces. So usually that schedule is not changed. So it's really not much of an automation tool if you're never changing or updating when that pump is running based on seasonal needs or user changes and bather load changes within that pool. So with the IntelliFlo3, we made some big improvements with that. So we took the same features that you've always had in a variable speed pump, but we've made it connected to Wi-Fi or through Bluetooth. So now you use a mobile device, your smartphone or a tablet, to connect to that pool pump, and you have a much more intuitive interface to schedule these events to happen. So it creates an environment in which a user is more apt to changing when that pump is running and when it's not running. You also can lengthen the time of the day that it's running, so you're using less energy by running slower. So less resistance, slower speeds, but you run it for longer times equals less energy being consumed. With that, because it's a Wi-Fi connected pump, it's the first of its kind that doesn't require any additional hardware. You actually have the ability to change that pump's schedule no matter where you are. So you could be on vacation and you know that there's a storm at home and you need to increase the filtration cycle of that pool to prevent it from turning green when you come home. You can do that straight from your phone. So it gives you that real-time peace of mind. You can see the status, you can see it's running, and you can also make changes to that speed or to that schedule based on the needs of the environment. Also, another big change that we added with IntelliFlo3 is that it has built-in relays. So it's not just a pump, it's a two-in-one automation system. It's automating the filtration of the pool, but also gives you the ability to control other equipment. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later, but it's the first of its kind with a true Wi-Fi enabled relay control of other equipment solution for homeowners. And then also because it's the connected device, it gives the pool professional to see it remotely as well. So it really is a game changer to bring this level of convenience and efficiency for both homeowners and pool professionals.
Well, thanks for that explanation, Adam. But, let's take a deeper dive. Can you talk to me about how you can control different pieces of pool equipment with the pump and how that makes for more efficient pool management?
Absolutely, I'd love to. So let's talk first about color pool lights. This is the most common piece of equipment that is controlled by the built-in relays for the IntelliFlo 3. It's also the most commonly desired piece of equipment to have remote control or automation with. So using the Pentair pool app, you can turn color lights on or off. You can also change the colors of those. And unlike previous switches that would be controlling these lights, where it's pure manual control, it's just either on or off, or if you wanted to change the color of that light, you'd have to flip it on and off 10 different times to find that right color. And if you get it wrong, you got to start over. Well, now all that's right in the app. So it's just pressing red or green or blue or party mode. You just press a button and it'll automatically put it on that color cycle. But also you have the ability to schedule it. So most people, they have a pool to enjoy it, but they also enjoy looking at it. So you can have your pool light set up on a schedule. So you're not only flipping it on when you go out there, but maybe it adds to the backyard experience. While you're inside, you can look out the window and see the nice colors in your pool. So just having that ability is great. Another popular piece of equipment that people are using IntelliFlo 3 to control is a salt chlorine generator. This piece of equipment requires water to be flowing through it in order to safely operate because it's not common, but if a flow switch were to fail and that salt cell was on, even though there was no water moving, it can create an unsafe scenario. So having a feature like this in your pump, it would only send power to that salt chlorine generator when the pump is moving water. So it really creates a unique, safe environment for homeowners. And you get that peace of mind that that salt cell is only operating when there's water moving through it. This is capable of being done because of a unique thing with IntelliFlo 3 where those built-in relays are not always tied directly to the speed of the pump. The user can pick and choose whether it's tied to moving water or independent of moving water. So something like a color light, you don't necessarily need moving water for that light to be on safely. So you could have it decoupled from the pump operation. But with a salt cell, you want it coupled. So you have the freedom to set up these relays based on what's actually wired to and create that safe environment. Another piece of pool equipment that you can control is a heater. So you're not able to change the temperature of the heater through the IntelliFlo 3, but you can control when it's running versus not running. So this is important because I've heard a lot of stories about kids. They see how their parents turn the heater by going out and pressing the button on the heater. Well, they mimic that behavior, right? So they'll go out there when they want the heater on and they'll press that button. They won't turn it off.
Right.
So that heater could stay on for hours and hours, which creates a very expensive gas bill. So if you have this controlled by the IntelliFlo 3, if they want the heater on, they have to ask you as the parent to turn that on. So you have oversight as to turning that heater back off. So it's a built-in safety mechanism to make sure that it's only on when you want it on.
I really appreciate those insights, Adam. I mean, we covered plenty of ground in the last couple of minutes and plenty of the points that people want to know about this pump. So far, we talked about the three most common pieces of equipment that you can connect to the IntelliFlo 3 pump. Can you only control those three pieces of pool equipment?
No, it doesn't stop there. Really, you can control anything that you can imagine. So booster pumps for cleaners, ozone systems, UV systems, landscape lights, really anything that just needs to be turned on or off can be controlled by the IntelliFlo 3 and the Pentair Pool app. The only limitation is really it's just two pieces of equipment. So for simple pools that only have a couple of items to control, this is the perfect solution. But if you have five or six or a lot of different items, you would be looking at a more traditional automation system such as the IntelliCenter.
Great. I mean, it sounds like there's quite a few options for what you can control with the pump, but how does this make the pool servicers' jobs easier? I mean, what's in it for them?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think most servicers are going to be familiar with the concept of remote monitoring pools, but traditionally this has only been available through traditional automation systems such as the Pentair IntelliCenter, some older systems from us as well. But the IntelliFlo 3 has the same capabilities. So because it's an internet connected device, servicers have the ability to remotely monitor this pump. So they can set it up so that they're doing this from their office, or they could be doing this from out in the road, other job sites, just using their cell phone. But you see the pump status. You can see when it's running or not running. You may be able to look at it and say that, well, this is only running at half the speed that it's supposed to be running at. Someone's gone in and changed it. You can change that on the fly, so you can fix that. So this really creates a situation where you might be able to fix a problem before it becomes a major problem without even having to roll the truck and go onto that job site. It's a really awesome tool in that regard. You may also get a notification that says the pump lost prime. And typically, the number one cause of pumps losing prime is because the water level dropped below the skimmer. So it could, instead of having to roll a truck out there because a customer is complaining about something's wrong, you may get this notification and you can proactively call that homeowner and ask them to see if the water level has dropped. And if it has, they can pull the hose out and fill it back up without you having to actually take time to go out there. So it saves you on your time, it saves you on your fuel, and it keeps your customers happier overall. So it really is like a white glove service that you can do with just this pump. It's no longer just something for full automation systems.
A lot of great information, Adam. See, I love features that allow you to be proactive rather than reactive. I know that's a big point that's going to resonate with a lot of the pool professionals that are listening to this. I hear another great feature is that you can actually track your energy usage of the pump within the app as well. Can you talk to us a little bit about how that works?
Yes, this is a great example of some benefits of connected products, as well as in the new world of electronics and software, we can continually update things. So because this is a connected product, when we add new features, we can update the software on that product to create new things and new experiences without having to actually replace the product. So this is a great example of one of those, and it's something that we launched in the market in December. But the Pentair Pool app, a homeowner can now see the historical energy usage of this pump. So that the IntelliFlo product is always displayed the instantaneous wattage that it's using. But now with IntelliFlo 3 in the app, you can see that historical view as well. So you got the daily energy consumption, the weekly energy consumption, and the monthly cumulative energy consumption as well. So this is important because you can track things over time and you can see how they change. And especially if you have it set up to run on a GPM control, so a gallons per minute control instead of a speed, what you'll notice is that the energy consumption is going to go up over time as the filter loads up. So you can visually see this happening, and it's a great indicator of when it's time to clean your filter. And when you do that, you'll see the energy usage come back down. So it helps you track things that are changing, and you can optimize your maintenance to ultimately cut down on that energy consumption as well.
More information and better energy savings is always a great thing. So, speaking of energy, I also hear that the Department of Energy has a big deadline coming up regarding single speed motors. I mean, can you tell us a little bit more about the implications of this ruling?
Certainly. So we all know that back in 2021, the Department of Energy had passed some regulation around pool pumps, which really shifted the industry from single speed pool pumps to variable speed pool pumps. And that was for the case of anything larger than 1.15 horsepower and less than 5 horsepower. When they did that, they didn't have anything to cover replacement motors. So for the past several years, when you're buying a pump in that power range, you had to get a variable speed pump. But if your 2 horsepower single speed motor failed, you could still purchase a replacement 2 horsepower single speed motor. So that's the piece that they're changing. So starting September 25th of this year, we can no longer manufacture single speed motors between 1.15 and 5 horsepower. So all those replacement needs will have to go to a variable speed solution. So it's important as this transition happens that we educate homeowners to the benefits of a variable speed pool pump. There's lots of energy savings opportunity that comes with variable speed, but also there's other automation benefits that you would get with a product like the IntelliFlo 3. So it's an investment that's going to have an immediate or a short return on investment in terms of energy savings, but also it'll enhance their user experience by offering them more capabilities to enjoy their pool. So with that, I would encourage people to check out. We have a hub for IntelliFlo3 that is loaded with lots of great information, lots of things that I just covered, plus additional items. It is pentair.com/IntelliFlo3 hub. It's loaded with lots of marketing materials and resources for you to work with your customers as you explain the benefits of the IntelliFlo3 and why it would be a smart decision for them and a great upgrade to their overall pool enhancements.
No, I appreciate you covering some of that for us, Adam. Still a lot of questions folks have about that deadline and what it pertains to and how it's going to impact the industry. So thanks so much for joining us today. I mean, that's a wrap for today's episode. Thank you for sharing all the cool new functionalities of the IntelliFlo3 pump and how it can transform a simple pool into a smart pool.
Awesome. Well, it's great to be here, and thanks for the opportunity.
To all our listeners, thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like, share, follow, and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time on another episode of Pool Magazine Podcast.
Today's episode of Pool Magazine Podcast is proudly brought to you by Genesis and the Pool and Hot Tub Alliance. Genesis trained professionals build pools that clients rave about, turning satisfied customers into powerful referrals. Our curriculum is designed to equip you with the knowledge and skills to create extraordinary outdoor living spaces. Invest in your employees with Genesis and watch your team thrive.